Can we talk about Dynasty around here? Can we talk about Dynasty?
This is what I wanted to see last year, bro. What are we doing?
We really thought Thieves were gonna do something, and they did nothing. They did nothing.
This team should not be in the league. Point blank period. D team, bogey team, not making it to champs. That's it. Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's the Too Good Cast back on your screens, talking all things Major 2. We're gonna be using a tier list and ranking these teams based on what we think their position should be at this current moment. Obviously, we're going to be taking the major into consideration. But, you know, Warren did make a good point the other day when we spoke. We should also think about their season overall. So we're going to have the overall standings up as well and kind of make an informed decision from then. But we're going to be going through each team one by one and talking about how they performed at the major. Obviously, Faze did the Three-Peat. They might actually be undeniable at this point. Like,
Can we talk about Dynasty around here? Can we talk about Dynasty now?
We might be able to flirt with the, you know, the discussion.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we can flirt now because I remember like sometime last year we were like, is it too early? But now it's kind of getting to that point where it's like, we might have to start talking about this. It's getting there.
Comfortable conversations must be had.
Yeah, but from what you guys saw of the major, whether you saw all of it or some of it, overall, how do you think the major went in terms of just like entertainment aspect and how good the games were?
Boy,
I was shocked personally. Like I wasn't expecting 3-0s. Like look at our predictions. We did try to give respect to a lot of teams to say, right, you guys should pick up a map based on the fact that you guys picked up a bit of form here, for example. And just to see 3-0s just happen all over, like even the casters were like, we finally got a game 5, which was the Surge of Faze.
Taking for it.
Like we were like everyone was gagging for it, you know. So
they were. They used the right terminology. They were gagging for it.
We were gagging for it, yeah. So I mean, I was shocked that we got 3-0s because then that just goes to show that teams got gapped in terms of skill level on land.
Yeah.
Like a 3-0 tells me as a viewer that we're gapping you in terms of skill level. Like you're not even getting a map. So the fact that that happened,
it's embarrassing.
So
yeah.
If you
look at the
shocked is what I would say.
If you look at the bracket,
I would say I was shocked, yeah. But I think at the same time, there's an element of we needed some of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, like some feathers had to be ruffled. You know what I'm saying? I could say names. I can name names later on, but like from a spectacle or someone that's watching for maybe the first time or even trying to get into CDL, and they've been told these are your top 3 teams and these are your top 4 teams. Based on the get-go, you'd be like, really? Like, wait, what happened?
Start feeling this. Like, somebody lied. That's what I would think. Yeah, I mean, just looking at our predictions and what actually happened, like, on the first match, like, we were just... I mean, it was just difficult to predict. Nobody's bracket looked good. Like, there's not a single prediction bracket that somebody did that was actually accurate. Like, first game... We're thinking, you know, Surge on a 3-0. It's a flipping game 5. That's probably one of the only game 5s of the entire tournament. Like, and from then it was just like, we got a couple points here, mainly for like who we thought would win the match. But our score lines were just, we tried to
put respect on everyone.
I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen obviously because of like how teams have obviously performed in the qualification phase, and more importantly, like we weren't seeing so many 3-0s to the point where it's like, you know what, we have like to the point where even the team that I expected to get 3-0'd another team that we were not. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't make any sense. Like, what's going on here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh god,
it was crazy. It was crazy. But you know,
you're funny, Timo, man.
in the end of it, I think the winner was somebody that we could have predicted, and somebody that I think we actually did predict Faze to win the whole thing. And of course,
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, we had them to win the whole thing, and they have done the Three-Peat, you know, the triple LAN wins from EWC to Major 1, and now Major 2. They have won every single LAN for the last 3, which is insane.
I think the EWC is not being counted. I mean, they have obviously.
No, they did.
What? Oh, they're counting that. So
yeah,
they're saying...
it's only way because OpTic won champs. So like there's only been 3 LAN tournaments since champs, and it was EWC Major 1 and now Major 2.
Okay, fair enough. I thought they were saying the Three-Peat starts from the new season, so Major 1, Major 2, Major 3. That's what I thought personally.
Saying they've actually done it, which I have a potentially unpopular opinion. I don't think EWC should be counted as part of.
Yeah, I don't think it should be.
It's
either,
not
personally.
a CDL event. It was
exactly.
single
Totally
elim.
agree.
Like it shouldn't be, but I get it for like, you know, just the storyline of like playing on LAN and being dominant on LAN. Yeah, I'll let you guys I'll let the community have that, but literally it don't count. But anyway, but yeah, we got Faze in first, Surge in second, Ultra in third, LA Thieves in fourth, Cloud9 in 5th to 6th, Boston Breach 5th to 6th, OpTic Game in 7th to 8th, at least it's not last. Carolina Royal Ravens 7th to 8th. We have Gentleman's 9th to 12th, Falcons 9th to 12th, Heretics 9th to 12th, and Rokkr 9th to 12th. That's a lot of $0 made by those 4 teams. A lot of $0 I see in the screen. But yeah, it was a very, very entertaining major. We're gonna start off with the champs, because why not? And let
I'll take this one, folks.
Yeah, man, have at it.
Yeah. What can I say? Very impressed, to be honest. I was a little, you could say, starting to worry in that Surge finals game where it went to a game 5. I think they were going pound for pound with Faze.
Yeah.
I just think, though, when Faze, especially when like the Abizi Simps and Celium, they know when they are in dire moments. I think they just understand how to get out of the mud, if that makes sense. Like they just know how to just turn something that's going really scrappy to complete dominance. And I think they've just done that multiple times across different games, different seasons, different majors.
Yeah.
But credit to Surge though, like not doubting Surge's ability in that game, in that tournament, in fact. Like they were superb. Well. I think we actually did back. I'm unsure. I think we might have put Surge in the losers bracket early, but despite that, I think we still backed Surge to make it too close to a winners finals.
We had Surge losing to LA Thieves.
Yeah, okay, so because
we thought Thieves were gonna beat Boston, and then they didn't. So we had like a Surge Thieves winners round 2, but
my bad, Boston. I knew you had it in you somehow. You know what I'm saying?
You know?
Oh yeah. Also, I just want to say as well. Shout out Celium. He was my main AR, my first pick in the fantasy. He will always be my first pick. If I can pick him, I will pick him. If someone does pick him, it is what it is. But for Major 3, he will always be my first pick. A 1.7 on LAN, by the way. That's not just a gap. That's basically saying I'm coming to take it all. You talking about all like Formal and Scumps and all the other major ARs that played in history? Yeah, I need to be amongst that. Yeah, I'm coming for that. That's what he's saying. So a 1.7 on LAN, Celium. Thank you very much for your service for my fantasy team. I will try pick you again, but just keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah, no, I like what you said about the fact that like you spoke to Faze's like clutchness, like how it's so hard to put them in the ground, and I think that's why they're so dominant, because like it doesn't matter what like moment of greatness another team has, they could like get a 3 dead or hit a 2-piece, rotate early, you know, have good position on a good hold or get a first blood, but it's like it doesn't matter when it's Faze. Like Faze is probably the only team that you will see down like 2 lives in an S&D, and you're looking at like the fact that they could probably still win that round, or they could be down 100 points. And you're like, I can't lie, comeback is probably most likely. Like there's no other team I look at and I think like it's almost like as sure as like when it's Faze. Like Faze will turn a tide whenever. Like they're just, every individual player on that team can just do something insane, and they can do it consistently. So you have to literally be perfect against them. Because even when you are playing like your best COD, they're most likely playing theirs. And even if they're not playing theirs, it's like one moment is all they need to flip a switch. They could be down 100 points and you're thinking, rah, things starting slow again. And then it's like, oh, someone woke up. And then the whole team is just like, okay, cool, let's lock in. So it's so hard to beat these guys. Like I literally don't know what you do against this team right now. And it's weird, I said this before. I was like, I want to see Faze back in that insane dominance. And I understand like they won EWC and Major 1, but let's not act like this team was not on the cusp of breaking up because of their inconsistencies in their second places. And I was just
2 days, I remember. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, I know this team is coming back for like first. Like I know they're coming back to that. I know that this team is too soon to break them up. Like I get it, the wholesale simple easy isn't working. I think people are absolutely faded. Like I feel like you keep running this back until they get like consistent sixths. If they're not getting that, you keep running it back because there's just no other. It's like they just work so well together.
It's not broken.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean they had a damn near almost flawless major. They lost 3 maps in total for the entire major. They absolutely steamrolled Surge 4-0 in grand finals. It looked easy for them. And when Beezy's got the lowest KD in the major, and you're doing something right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh
he's meant to, that means you're playing well, selling, and you expect him to have the highest KD. Like they're just all playing their roles incredibly. And shout out to Simp and Draza, you lot won me in my fantasy league. So it was fun being a FaZe fan for once.
There needs to be a conversation about Draza as well, by the way. I'm going to do more research on that, but there's going to be a conversation that needs to be brought up about Draza, because I used to hate that guy. And if he does see this pod, Draza, listen, I used to hate on you, but that was because I was unfamiliar. I'm familiar now, very much familiar. Now, some are trying to say, oh, like, he's attaining all these achievements because he's with the 3 best players in the league. I get that to some extent, but you need to understand, on a personal level, like, he's still pulling his weight in one of the best teams. Like, it's not a carry.
He's not getting carried. There
is word on the street that apparently Dashi even admitted that he got carried at champs, right? But that's another conversation. Draza is pulling his weight. And that's what we want to see.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's just suffering from what everybody suffers with. Like, people say Crim6 got carried to every championship, even though he got 3 of them, and he's the most winningest player. If someone like Crim6 can, like, you can call them carried or try to call them carried, I can't lie, nobody is above that comment. Like, everybody is gonna look carried when they're on an amazing roster, and they're probably just not the best on the roster. Like, it doesn't mean they're not one of the best in the league. You know what I'm saying? It's just when people say that, I think they're just like looking at the fact that out of that roster, like, he has probably the least stocks, but it's like, is he top 5 or is he top 6? Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, do you get what I'm saying? It's like, listen, he's one of the top players in the league. It's just nuances at this point. The guy's insane. I hate him, I love him. Like, he's proven himself on 2 different teams. And, he probably will continue to, regardless of people. It doesn't matter if people don't like him. So I hear what you're saying. If people weren't familiar, they are not.
I feel like at this point it gets and I like the fact that you use the Crim6 reference, because at the end of the day, like, bro, like, regardless of what you do, like, as a player, as a team player, or even as an individual, you're gonna be under a microscope in some way, shape, or form. I think in his case, he's gone to a team that obviously were excelling well with what they were doing previously. It hadn't worked out with, I think it was Arcites that he took the place of.
Slasher.
So, like, considering how things were looking at the start, they were like, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Is he pretty performing? And now there isn't a conversation to be had about that now, because he's performed pretty much since the turn of RWC. EWC. So hats off to him, because there's always a lot of trash talk here and there, but I think he's held his own for the best part.
He held his own.
He's brought the fire to this
that interview was
man.
clutch from him as well. Like, when he was like, "Oh, forget the crowd." Like, he's used to the whole like "F you."
He loves it.
Like, he's used to that. Like, I think he embraces it at this point.
He loves it. He loves it, and it's what FaZe needed, man. Like, there was other ARs in the team that just didn't work. The RCs and the Slashers, like, it's not that they're not great players, but I feel like Draza just fits this team. Like, he has a delusional confidence in his teammates that you need, and I think that this quad is definitely in the dynasty talks, and they will be. I think it's still too soon, in my opinion. I just it's too early. Like, they win another chip and a couple more majors, 100%, undeniable. That's all they have to do now. Like, just the actual accolades. Stay
consistent.
The actual accolades. As soon as they hit that, it doesn't matter what they did to get it. Dynasty. Like, I think at that point, there's no argument against it. But the W like a FaZe, I feel like we're all probably in agreement of where they probably should go.
Oh yeah, no, that's
should we just start them on a high note?
Yeah,
FaZe on the S rank,
straight up there. Yeah, I mean, I think this is like setting the bar pretty the highest you can. So moving on to the next team, we've got Carolina Royal Ravens. First of all, what do we think of the team in terms of how they performed at Major 2?
Well, personally for me, I feel like this going off what we predicted in the bracket, Ravens definitely underperformed in my opinion. We actually, gave them their flowers, their props, as you could say, and it didn't go to plan for them. I mean, to pick up your maps against Falcons, I mean, on LAN, of course, it matters, but it's just like you did you didn't even pick up a map, so that's just underperformance to me. And the thing is, this roster has real good potential. Like on qualifiers, they did really well. They were looking very dominant in certain moments, and LAN, it's just like you guys didn't show up. It's tough.
This team, unfortunately, are a bunch of onliners. That's what this proved to me. All the other teams that we looked at that have been playing really well in qualifier stages, we were like, cool, let's see what they do when they come to the major. Seattle Surge, people still weren't believing because when they lost to Thieves in a 4-3 fashion, people were like, well, yeah, it was online. So it's like, people still thought they were good, but people had question marks because it was still an online tournament. It's like with Ravens, it was like these are the types of teams that we needed to prove themselves online, so we actually know exactly where to put them.
Where they're at.
And online, they look insane. Their online record is they look crazy online. They go to LAN, and I'm sorry, Gwyn cannot shoot back on LAN. I don't get it. The guy loses his thumbs. I'm not understanding. We were talking about Gwyn like the Neptunes, the Joe the Thieves, and in that category of like somebody on a lesser team that could take it to the top 4 and play just as well. Every time I watch this POV, he looks like a different player in the worst way. It doesn't make sense. In the worst way. It's not. I'm not here to say that he's not the worst SMG in the game. Of course, like by no means, but he has not lived up to his potential at LAN. It's always online. Every time you see him dropping like a 1.3 or higher or 1.2 consistently, it's online. But when he goes to LAN, he's just not. He just doesn't show up at all. Like you gotta look to like TJ more than Gwyn online, because TJ already got
TJ was the guy in that tournament. I mean, despite the 0.94, but he was trying to hold his own, and as well as carry the team to some extent as well.
And it's just it's so disappointing.
I'm kind of disappointed. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed because we really saw potential in this Ravens team, and they just the narrative now is, have you guys ended up looking like onliners instead of LAN? Like, that's quite bad if that's the narrative,
I had these guys making a run. Remember what I said? Something about Ravens.
Yeah, you did. I remember.
And this was the opportunity. I can't back these guys anymore. Like Gwyn, he did really well, pretty well in the major stage 1, basically like qualifiers and major. He did all right. But even when he got to the major for stage 1, like it was the same thing. So at this point,
do you know how I was backing him as well? Crazy. Remember, we were in Discord when I put TJ in my team. I put him as my SMG.
You picked him up. I remember.
I picked up TJ as my SMG.
But that's the only player I look at and I'm like, I still believe in Teach. Because even online, you still see the same level of intensity, the same level of pace, and you see the same decisions being made, things that he practiced. But I look at like Gwyn, Vivid is one of the most inconsistent players I've ever seen. Like one minute he could be going double positive, and the next minute he's like triple neg. Like it's really bad. And then Slasher he's just like this. Like I don't get any special moments from Slash. Like it just looks like a very mediocre team right now to me at this point. A very mediocre team. They could cause a random upset, but it's just like it doesn't even mean anything at this point. They literally the only maps they won was against Falcons. Like, I
think you'd be more butthurt like losing to a Ravens, knowing that they're not gonna progress in that tournament. It's just like we dropped short to this team. Like really, that's how they're looking, and like it is what it is.
It's really disappointing, and I think in terms of like where we would place them, I mean, I know we got some other.
I'm looking at C and D,
but
am I looking to give them grace and say C because they got a win?
I might give them grace because of other teams.
I was gonna say
take up that spot.
If you look at the other teams and how they performed, I won't name names for now, but there's bad and then there's
there's like there's bad and then there's like blow it up, make a change.
Yeah.
Get someone gone.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that they need that at that stage yet. I just think they need to replicate what they do online and transfer it to LAN. If they can do that, they'll immediately be potentially A. If they can replicate their online success at LAN, there's just a disconnect that I don't understand. And based on the major, they're not very good. But if we look at overall, yeah, they're around about C. Like it balances out. So yeah, I mean, whatever they do these qualifiers, I honestly don't care about their stage 3 qualifiers. When we get to stage 3 LAN, major 3,
it's the LAN, yeah.
That's what.
But that's a positive though. That's a positive because we're not so worried about them being on the qualifiers. Like we know they can do their thing on qualifiers, but it's just transferring it to LAN. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah,
you know
there's another thing for us to look out for. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Carolina
Ravens. I agree.
Yeah. Let's see. And next up, this team confuses me so much. We have Boston Breed.
Okay. I think it's fair to say that in the prediction, we had a certain LA Thieves like dismissing and dismantling this team ASAP-ish. Quick wipe, you know what I'm saying? If you know, if you got your Clorox wipes in the States or you've got your I don't know, antibacterial wipes here in the UK, you say that, look, gone, they're done, they're finished, right? I was live, right? I think you lot need a representation of what actually happened. I was live and I saw 3-0 and I literally stopped what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it didn't. There was no part of me that even processed. Yeah.
Hey, PK was in the chat.
It's just like Timo.
I said Boston up 2-0 up.
Boston up from 2-0. And they said one game left. I'm like, excuse me? The same Boston that I backed last year that show me a little something here and there, but it was just, this is what I wanted to see last year, bro. What are we doing?
I know. Too little too late, man. Too little too late.
I think that was probably the biggest shock of the tournament. Like I think the first day was the biggest shock.
It was.
To be honest, no one expected Thieves to go straight into losers bracket. That's why I think everyone in the group chat was like, losers bracket is stacked because we've got like, the Ravens went in there, Ultra went in there, Thieves went in there. It's crazy. Insane. It went off. It went that. And the thing is as well, normally no one. I don't know if it's just like one of those things, but me personally, I look forward to like every game. But you could say like the losers bracket is kind of like the least favorite day to look forward to. You know what I mean? Because no more often than not, it's the lesser teams against the stronger that drop. Yeah. Yeah. So, but the fact that the heavyweights dropped off rip, that's what made Major 2 like, yo,
insane. But I do think they deserve some props. I will say, however, that this Boston team is heavily carried by Snoopy. This is Snoopy's team. This is the Snoopy squad. And Snoopy and Co. Literally, Snoopy and Co. The rest of them, they could be faceless and nameless. It wouldn't even matter. Like, and I'm not trying to take away from moments of greatness. Cammy did have a good series as well. Like, I'm not taking away from the players. I'm just saying, like, if Snoopy's not playing well, this team is dead. This team is dead in the water. Like, if he's not on his A game, they don't have a chance. So when I've seen a 3-1, I'm just like, and I've watched it, I'm just like, someone get Snoopy on the top team, right? He's going to drown in this Boston squad. Like they could even do this again, and it just won't matter. He's gonna end this season like bottom 4, and it's like it doesn't even represent who he is as a player, and it's gonna be the saddest thing in the world because like they can do this, and then they drop down to losers. Who do they end up facing? Where is it? They go down to the bottom half of the bracket. I think they end up here?
Yeah, round 3 it seemed like, yeah.
How did they get to Elam round 3? They lost winners round 1, and then they dropped to... Did they literally just drop to the second half of the bracket? How did they end up in Elam round 3? What the hell?
Yeah, Is that how that works? Oh no, because the losers bracket.
Oh, because they won. That's it.
Yeah, because
they went to winners round 2. My bad. Sorry. So yeah, they beat LA Thieves. They go to winners round 2, and then it's like.
And then they lost, which takes them to 3 because the 2 losers face each other in round 2. The 2 losers 2 losers face each other in round 2, and in round 3, it's whoever.
Yeah.
It's the best loser that goes on the streak basically from there on.
Exactly. Yep. But what was sad about this is like they just beat the team that beat Surge for a minor win, and then they get 3-1 by that Surge team.
Yep.
They just get 3-1. Like it was just like, oh, any hope of like, wait a minute, is Boston valid? No.
But
it was like it got
what we were saying
away.
though about Ravens. It's like you lost to the team that's not even gonna like do anything.
Yeah.
But you know, and that's a rubbish feeling to have.
That's why it must have really hurt Thieves.
It's a smelly one.
Because when you look at their run and they go get 3-1 by Surge, they drop all the way down, and then they lose to Ultra. They got 3-0 by Ultra. So it's like it just reset. It just recalibrated people's brain where it's like, okay, I wouldn't call it a fluke. They played well.
No, they played well.
Thieves didn't. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna call it a fluke, but they don't have any. That didn't give me any stock in them. Like I don't give them any extra brownie points now for being able to do that. It's more so I look at Snoopy and I'm like, you are actually legit. Like you need help.
You need a draft.
You did that. Like I don't care what anyone else says.
Yeah.
He did that.
Yeah.
Nobody else did that. He did that. He carried them on his back.
I feel like it's now a thing where like, especially they will even look at. I'm sure the players themselves and maybe the org to the extent will look at that and think we have a problem because not more so in terms of the team's performance. That's something that they'll obviously have to address. They've now got to find a way to keep Snoopy invested in their plans because the reality is that performance and like seeing how he's obviously been able to kind of get them from one place to another. Mind you, like you've got other orgs performing better with potentially worse players. Yeah.
Facts.
He's gonna think, well, why should I stick around? In a sense, like I can see what I'm capable of doing, and I know the sort of players I need around me to kind of go on to that next level, but also more importantly, perform consistently at that level. That's the problem Boston Breach are gonna have. It's funny because I remember Warren talking about this last year in terms of him investing in his stocks into Snoopy when I picked Boston, but it's more so in a sense like there wasn't that he hadn't hit that element of having ice in like specific moments, and I feel like now he's somehow managed to gather that and galvanize himself to the point where it's like, okay, the topic of conversation is now going to be, is this the right org? Is this where I should be? Is there like somewhere else that I can effectively perform consistently at this level because I like doing it at this point?
And it's interesting as well. Yeah, let's not forget Piggy used to heavily scrutinize Snoopy. She's like, that talent's all cute and stuff, but can you do it on like the biggest stage, And now she's saying, get him some help.
He does need help. But it was true. He wasn't doing it on the biggest stage. That was the issue. He wasn't doing it. He wasn't causing upsets like this. He just kept losing series. But now that he's won like that against a top team, and he's been doing it in qualifiers as well. He's been playing like crazy. Now I'm like, okay, cool. Now get the kid some help. Like, now get him some help. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, for a while, I didn't think that he was a star player yet. I think he's a star player on the team around the teammates that he has, but I can't call him a rising star if he can only carry his team to one win. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's other teams that are getting full on carry. Like, Gwyn, granted, it was qualifiers, but Gwyn has carried that Carolina team to some series. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, but I see the talent. I respect him a lot more now, and I think that he just needs a lot of help. Now, I don't know if he's gonna want to leave yet, or they're gonna make a change, because currently they are sitting at 7th, tied with OpTic in the overall standings. So in terms of them potentially winning, like potentially qualifying for champs, they're in a very good position. But then at the same time, you have Cloud9, who's like really heating up recently, that could overtake that spot. You have Miami Heretics, which we'll get onto, which is such a weird team. They could just go on a run if they wanted to. And then you have an OpTic Texas, which you're hoping continues to do bad. But if this change is a positive one and they continue making these decisions, they're probably not dropping from that top 6. So it's a weird one. I feel like he probably will put his stocks in this Boston Breach team. But moving forward out of 2025, I don't know if he stays on his team. But it depends on what they do. If they don't offer him the opportunity to build his own squad, I think he goes. I think he leaves. But in saying that, hard part comes. Where do we put this team right now?
I think it's the same. It's the
same. No.
I think it's C.
I think
they're not in
they're
B
lower than
because
Ravens.
beating
No.
Thieves
I don't think they're in B. I don't think they're in B.
Thieves and then losing to who did they?
Ravens.
They lost to They lost
Who
to
did they
Surge.
lose to again? Because I know they got 3-0 by thingy, no?
Surge and Ultra. They got 3-1 by Surge.
Oh yeah,
and
Surge and
3-0
Ultra.
by
That's
Ultra.
it. Yeah. I mean, they got a map against Surge. I mean, is that enough to put you in B and then to get 3-0'd by Ultra, which means you didn't even like show up in some way?
I don't think so, but
I think that puts you in C. That puts you in the same path as like the Ravens. I mean, you won your first game and then you just got battered the rest of the way.
It's like different points. Like Ravens was like, we had them a lot higher and then they disappointed us. Like Boston, we actually had them very low and then they showed promise, but then they still then they underperformed. So it's like they both kind of end up meeting here, but from different points of
different points. Yeah.
They're both C, but like again, slightly. I feel like Ravens is more the high C, whereas Boston's probably more of mid to low C. Could drop to D if they don't continue to do some of these upset series.
Yeah,
but yeah, I agree. LA Thieves, super team, formed to take down all the greatest rosters in Call of Duty.
Oh dear.
This watch was beautiful, by the way, for personal reasons, but yeah.
What I'm gonna say is, I know somebody else probably wasn't enjoying the viewing by a certain name called Nibsy. But it is what it is, man. But if they were watching it. Shout out Nibsy, man.
We really thought Thieves were gonna do something, and they did nothing. They did nothing. Yeah, sorry, I went into a bit of like some white chicks mode there. Yeah, but it was actually white chicks, you know. But Thieves did nothing. They got nullified. They got absolutely nullified. Even Scrap, his tweet, he was just like, you could tell in the tweet. I can't remember word for word, but he basically said like, we got outplayed.
It was embarrassing.
Like,
I'm pretty sure one of the team.
Yeah, he said embarrassing. That's it. Yeah, keyword. Yeah. He said embarrassing. Like we just go again, major free, and you can tell that's someone that's actually being accountable for the way he played and his team played.
Yeah. They're still an incredible team.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. But
they are kicking themselves because them losing to Boston really, really, really hurt their tournament and
their confidence.
It probably both. Yeah, I agree because I feel like the teams that they beat in the losers bracket, I don't think that was enough to really prepare them for then going up against an Ultra or a Faze or a Surge because. You're meant to beat Cloud9, you're meant to beat Ravens, you're meant to beat Heretics, you're actually meant to beat Boston. When you get to Ultra, then it's like, yo, all right, this might be difficult. But because you've lost the breach straight away, you're now beating teams that aren't giving you any trouble, and you're kind of not really learning much. Like, yeah, you might, you're staying hot. You might have a little bit of what do they call it? When you kind of go on a loser's run and it's like the adrenaline and there's a
bit of momentum.
Bit of momentum, right? But I just don't think that they were tested in that loser's bracket at all. So it's just like, okay, cool. Now we're up against another really good team, and it's like they just felt so flat, so friggin' flat. And
so
Ultra
flat.
I have so much respect for Ultra.
Absolutely nullified. Like the only person who I saw fighting back was bloody Hydra.
They shut him down.
They absolutely. When I watched that match, I said, "No way, this is happening!" Insane. Like I couldn't believe what my eyes were witnessing. Like that protocol hardpoint looked like it was. Like it didn't even look like a scrim. It looked like they were playing like. Nah, okay. Let me put some respect on Thieves. I was about to go crazy there.
No, but it looked crazy. It looked like really rank play. It looked like rank play. It did look like rank play, and everybody noticed it. Like it was one of the biggest moments of like biggest maps of the tournament because we've never seen. That level of dominance from Ultra in that protocol was stupid. Like they were looking like Faze doing that to Thieves. You know what I'm saying? They were looking like the best team in the world.
Yeah, Jodeci's was going nuts. I can't remember the KD dropped that game in that series.
We'll get to him.
He's having his way.
We'll definitely get to him. But I think what we are learning about this Thieves team is like, okay, talent-wise, you guys got it. Like we do not have anything negative to say about the talent on the team. But when you go up against a team with probably the best teamwork in the league, or one of the best teamwork in the league, talent gets outshone eventually.
Yeah,
like
100%.
that's what that looked like to me. That was a matchup between talent versus teamwork, and teamwork won pretty badly.
The funniest thing is, you could arguably say that both. You would probably have said that Toronto and Thieves are probably level in terms of like ability. Or you might say Thieves might have slightly more ability, but that's more so to do with like potential.
Individually, yeah, individually for sure. Like if you put Hydra versus Joe Thieves, I got Hydra. Envoy versus a Kleenex. Kleenex is incredible, but I still kind of put Envoy. Just like his playmaking ability is just insane. So, but and then even the ARs, Insights, Scrap, like goes like they all of LA Thieves edge it slightly, but it is slight. Like it's not a big gap.
But I think the point, I think even just to raise that point is kind of looking at it in a sense like with Ultra, it's not so much about ability that I think edges them or puts them in a position where I feel like, cool, that's how you can match them with Thieves. It's like you said, it's more so to do with that teamwork and that know-how and that ability to kind of, cool, we're in this position, but we've been out of this position a million times. Yeah. And that's where their confidence, that's where they rely on their confidence. Like they know that they don't have to, like
do something crazy.
Like, almost like like go crazy in order for them to kind of hit that second or third gear that we've obviously been so accustomed to seeing them do over the number of years now. So that I think that's where there's obviously like a difference in terms of you have your Thieves with potential ability and individuality, and then you've got Ultra with the experience, but also the ability to work well as a team that will obviously out-trump most teams in the league, if not all. So, yeah, man. It's
Wait.
Thieves, I don't know. It's just...
It's a hard one. Because they're still,
I don't want to say flat,
Thieves.
I don't want to use the term flat to deceive, because the Thieves is definitely
They're still Thieves. Like, they're still Thieves. They're still Thieves. But I really enjoy the fact that they are not. They didn't just come and they're just perfect. And I like the fact that they're not finding success because teams are playing badly. Because that is not a good representation of like whether or not you're good. Team. If other teams are making mistakes constantly and that's why you're winning, I can't say to you that you're necessarily a good team. I actually enjoy the fact that all of these other teams are stepping up because it is forcing this team to actually play the game properly. Like, I'm not going wrong, every team wants to play the game properly. But when we talk about differences in teamwork, why OpTic is not doing well, for example, it is little things like that. Like, your 4 players need to be so well gelled that you don't have to rely on somebody like dropping like a KD that's, a record-breaking KD or something like that. And I think this Thieves team is working towards it. I think that they're getting, even with their losses, I think they're actually getting better as a squad. And I think that, bar like some individual poor performances sometimes that you might see like, Envoy going negative, or Scrap has those weird maps sometimes where he's just getting crapped on, like insanely crapped on. But bar those, like the team is starting to slightly figure it out, but they need to do it at LAM, and they need to not be losing to teams that they should be winning against. Like that Boston loss, I can't like that. That was the most shocking loss of the tournament. That was the most shocking loss of the tournament. And hey, I don't really have them dropping further than where we might have had them previously. Obviously, we didn't do a tier list before, but I just think that they're learning. I think this is like growing pains. This is a brand new team being put together, a lot of talent, a lot of pressure, and they are just learning how to.
Put it this way, I'm sure Warren would be able to relate to this kind of analogy, but it's like when you're a young kid trying to get into football and you reach the teenage age of, let's say, 13, 14, you have this thing called osteoarthritis with your knees. When you talk about growing pains, it's more or less they're trying to grow into the body that everybody expects them to be and to be the performer that everyone expects them to end up becoming. However, they have to go through those growing pains in order for them to actually get to that point. And the experience that they have, or the experience that they're attaining now, is very important, because then, again, when we talk about Ultra, when we talk about Faze, or even OpTic in certain circumstances, there's that element of know-how and being able to kind of flick a switch and then almost like, cool, we've been here before. Yeah. It's like cruise control, like once you get the idea, okay, we're kind of facing this at the moment. All right, cool, let's relax. We've been here before. Boom. They'll eventually get there.
They will. I have zero doubt. I literally have zero doubt. I just think it's interesting, and I'm more invested in their journey at this point.
Yep. You know who isn't invested? Nivsy, because he lost. Anyway.
I mean, yeah, I can't lie. This is a pretty big swing.
I'm happy that. Listen, hold that. Hold it.
Yeah, I can't lie. For those that don't know, we do a Call of Duty League, fantasy league for every stage, and somebody who in our one for stage 2, Nivsy picked 3 members of LA Thieves in a fantasy league. By the way, 3 members, all LA Thieves, and basically said, yeah, like if they don't lose, I win in it. And some trash talk here and there. But this is what happens when you put most of your eggs in one basket.
Yep,
you know,
he got second. To be quite
he did get second.
He qualified for the thing, and
because they had a great qualifiers run. That's like they're literally 21-7 in map wins. Like they are second in the overall standings, and I'm telling you, the qualifiers and that minor play a massive part in it. So I get the pick, but this is what I'm saying. It's just you didn't win.
You didn't win, pal.
You didn't win. But yeah, in terms of where we would place them, my vote is probably still A.
I was thinking A as well, because I mean they thrashed Ravens. Like if you look at the hard point, it was like 250 to like 63 or something. I think that edges it a lot for me, in my opinion.
The teams they beat, they steamrolled.
Yeah, against Heretics was tough though, because they got taken to a round. Well, it was 2-2, so they won 3-2 in the control. That was pretty weird. I didn't expect that. The Heretics game was close. But despite that, because I think the next game after that they won.
They won 3-0 against Ravens, and then they won 3-0 against C9, and then they lost.
Yeah, they did. They did win 3-0. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that still puts them A, based on the fact that especially Cloud9 on paper as well, still a pretty good team. But the way they've done it,
for sure.
Yeah.
You agree, Timo?
Yep, no disagreements for me. I don't quite think they are look, it's kind of like I said, like there's still an element of growing is being able to understand where, like being able to identify what the level is. They're not at that level yet, but they're not exactly the furthest away from it, you know? So I think A justifies that.
All right, next up, this is a team so excited to talk about. Oh, the glaze is insane. But I'm a glaze. Toronto Ultra.
Boy.
You might as well go first if you want glaze.
Alright, cool. I was gonna prepare myself, but it's cool. I'll go. Right. This team has easily become one of my favorite teams to watch. If you're looking at like a CDL team that does not have the most insane talent in the league, that again, this is relatively a newish team. Like they're not coming from. I'm pretty sure they made a change since last year, if I'm not mistaken. And a team that literally just works hard. You can see their game plan. You hear it in their comms. Like they're ticking all the boxes, other than just like having raw talent in the game, and it's actually working. Like to see a team like this when you've got to go up against the Shotsies, the Hydras, the Simps, the Abizis, the Scraps, the Cells. Like these are the people that you're having to face on a weekly basis, right? And you got Benjamin Beans.
I'm sorry, Benjamin Beans.
Yo, you got Benjamin Beans is cold when he's ready and gonna ready, he can play well. But you got Joe Deceives, who got dropped from the LAT squad. You got Insight, who got left by Scrap. You know what I'm saying? Kleenex he's been so up and down in the league. Like people know that he's good, but no one really gives him a chance anymore, in my opinion. You just got I don't want to call them underdogs because they are good, really good in their own right. But this whole team hasn't won a chip. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they're chipless. That they're ringless. Like it. Well, I think Insight might have a chip. I think they won one major with Scrap. But yeah, just overall, they just don't have a crazy amount of accolades or anything like that, but they have been in the league for a relatively long time. So to see them put it together like this and to really shut so many teams down on not just like in the qualifiers and on LAN, and it's like they haven't skipped a beat, to like it's so beautiful to watch. As a Call of Duty player and fan, I love the way they play COD. Love it. And low key, I would have been happy if they won. I would have enjoyed to watch that.
You know what? I think kind of even just to add to that point, I think when you it's almost like when the first time I watched any format of CDL, like you can go through like fanfare, or you can go through like effectively how a team have managed to actually play well, but also like you learn something as they play. Like you're learning how they're able to kind of dismantle teams, or like outmaneuver, outbrain in that sense. And I think that when we talk about that element of teamwork, we know that like when it comes, like when it's on paper, that some of these players don't match up with the better players in the league. But what they will do is they'll outwork you. They'll try and find a way to kind of rattle your cage. And when they succeeded, as we've seen with Thieves, it can be done quite to a heavy effect. And like I just think anybody out there that's looking for a team to really watch and learn the key fundamentals of how to actually play competitive COD, you're not going to turn a blind eye to an Ultra in any way, shape, or form.
100%. I mean, look at these matches, man. Look at their record. Granted, they didn't win. All right, whatever. 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 1-3 to a Vancouver Surge.
Yep.
Who made it to the grand finals?
Granted, they got forward, whatever, but insane team. Like, beautiful COD in all 3 game modes.
Yeah,
I don't think they have a weak game mode that just stands out as weak. You know, I would say that, you know, even though they 3-0'd Thieves, I still think Thieves has the best control, or one of the best controls in the game. But even then, like, this team is so well-rounded, and there's another reason why Faze has so much flipping success, because they don't have a weak map or mode. They literally have the deepest map pool and the deepest modes in terms of like how good they are at each one. But Ultra is very close to that. Like they are so close to just being so good at everything. Like and that is why you see these 3-0s, because it's like there's no swing map for another team. It's like, no, these guys are just as strong on the hard point as they are S&D, as they are control. So it's like they can pull this off. Like, right, I get it. Gentlemates, OpTic Texas, you know, not the greatest teams right now, okay? Boston breached. I mean, they beat Thieves. We'll give them some stock in there. Again, not the greatest team, but to beat Thieves like that is after Thieves just won their last 3 matches. This is not Thieves that lost to Boston and then had them afterwards. Thieves then went on to win the next 3 matches and were on form. Like the matches they won, they looked insane. So let's not take it away just because Thieves dropped to losers and think, oh, they weren't playing that well. Thieves were playing incredibly in
both
that major.
Both teams had their equal footing. Thieves won the last 3, and Ultra won the last 3.
Exactly. And it's just great. Like I'm so excited about this team. Joe Deceives. Oh, I love that everybody is getting so much props because
confidence as well.
Is crazy.
That's what confidence does to you. That's what confidence. Like, look, if you look at how the last like 18 months have been. Previously on LA Thieves dropped, and like that could effectively have been like we've seen people go back down to challenges or effectively have to reassess and take some time away from the game. He said, no, you know what? Let me try somewhere else. And you know, again, trying to get used to a team. And mind you, so Rokkr and Ultra are not unsuccessful team. They've got a lot of pedigree in the league. So going to that sort of team, being able to learn off the likes of Kleenex and Insight. And just being able to play with those guys obviously has elevated his level. But I think the key word I like to look at this is confidence.
Yeah, that's 100%.
When you've got players like that around you that are instilling confidence with you, there's nothing you can't achieve in this esport. So I props to him. I like the fact that he was able to give that trash talk. Like they dropped me for that. Like that, seeing that was just like, yo, like
that was
he's really into it now. You know what I'm saying?
For that.
You know, Beans being British as well, the trash talk, it's kind of, I love it.
I respect
because it's
it.
like, you're really going to hear what he says. Like, as a British folk, you're going to actually understand what he says. You know, like, even if all sound was cut, you will literally be able to lip read what he says.
Yeah. Beans got that funny aura. Like, it's funny, but he actually kind of has a little bit of aura at the same time.
You're like, look, he's like, don't look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. You, awful.
Like, he's quality.
Oh, I love him. I don't get me wrong. Beans sometimes has like mediocre performances here and there, but listen, he really does things, especially on like a control when it's like looking like they're about to get broken or they're like something's about to shift. Beans is insane. We're just going on a 6 spree randomly. I don't know who this is. What kind of ad, bro?
No, that is an insignificant ad.
Sorry, but yeah, he does what he needs to do for the team as well, and then he does have like certain moments of greatness too. Like I just think this is such a well-rounded team. Like sometimes, like if anyone in this team gets any better, it's just looking insane. It's looking scary. Like I don't know what you do if any one of these players starts picking up even more. Like an Insight, for example, like because when Insight's playing well, this team looks unbeatable. I'm not gonna lie, the team looks impossible to beat when he's overachieving. But yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible team. Granted, they fall against Vancouver Surge, and that was a great. I mean, despite the scoreline, it was a great series to watch. I just think they've solidified themselves as as one of the top, as a top 3 team, actually.
They make champs.
I'll give them a top 3. Yeah, they don't
make champs. Send me your Cash App, PayPal, whatever. I'll give you a little something. Yeah? Because they make champs. I could put my mouth on it. They make champs.
I think they made champs.
I think after Faze, personally, I look at, despite even the ranking, after Faze, I say Ultra personally.
Yeah,
based on
I would say
the setup, the simplicity of their game, and how they punish mistakes. Once they've got the 4 down or 3 dead or whatever, and they've got you in your spawn, you're trapped. Because when you got Jodeci's and Kleenex just cleaning up. And the thing is, I feel like Kleenex has missed having a good, like a Slayer SMG in Jodeci's. Like I feel like he's been wanting that. Like, not to discredit all his other SMG partnerships, but I think he really just now knows that he can just knuckle down on and do what he needs to do because he trusts the other person there that will go crazy. It's not just I'll do my job. I'm doing my job and beyond. Yeah, you know,
for sure.
So, I
agree, man. It's an incredible team to watch, and like I said, you hear it in the listeners, man. Their comms are just so good. Like you can see the way that they think. Like you're watching them, and everyone has the other person's trade. Like I've never seen somebody like hold their lane, but as soon as their teammates getting pressured, the arrow just snaps, and it's like somebody's getting traded.
Something. If Michael Jackson knew about COD, he'd appreciate their gameplay because they're smooth criminals. I'm telling you, they are smooth.
I am so dead.
It's smooth the way they do everything. It is brilliant. It's just total brilliance.
Yeah,
it is. It's beautiful to watch, man. I appreciate this team a lot. So,
for sure.
What were we thinking in terms of a?
A.
It's definitely A. Definitely
A for sure. They're even borderline.
They're
high A for
They're
sure.
incredible, man. They're incredible. They're right there.
Sure.
You know, they only lost to one of the only teams that you can see them lose to. Like they handled the business clinically against everybody else. And it's been from qualifiers to now as well. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this Ultra team, bringing back heavy competition. Right, vamos. Miami Heretics. Let's talk about it.
Well,
weird team. Weird team.
Where do we begin?
We didn't really see much. What's the issue?
There isn't much to say.
I think that's part of the problem.
I see them as the team that's just like the upset team. That's how they're the upset team.
I feel like when you have dark horses within the league, you're waiting for that. Like maybe a couple of moments, maybe not just one, but maybe a couple of moments where you're just like, you know what, they're dark horses, but there's something else that they've added to their game to make them a bit more like, right, this is now they've kind of got that switch on and they're now ready to kind of really steamroll teams or effectively take teams to like a game 5 and effectively pull off a surprise here and there. That's kind of where I want Miami Heretics to be at, but it generally is that element of qualifiers, dark horses for sure. They've been able to get a few games here and there. Mind you, it was against like an OpTic that weren't exactly in the best state of mind, but like again, I expect them to capitalize on the teams around them more so than the actual the higher ups. Like if they are going to lose to like an Ultra or a Surge or a Thieves or a Faze, granted, I can understand where the disconnect will come from. When it comes to the teams around them, I expect them to wipe the floor with them, and that's not happening.
Yeah, it's not as much as it should, you know.
Yeah,
I agree. I feel like Heretics right now in the standings are exactly where they should be.
Yep.
I think they have potential, but I'm actually gonna make a statement that, I mean, whether it's popular or unpopular, I think if anyone disagrees, you're just wrong, and you know, I don't care. I think Real is better than Win and Neptune and probably same level as Jodeci's. Real is one of the best SMGs in this game, by far. Like this guy is not normal. Is not normal. You don't do this consistently on a team that has lost. How many maps have they lost? There's 15. They have a 31% map win percentage.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm not talking about he's insane because he has good gun skill and can slay. Like, we all know how sometimes that can hurt your team. I'm talking about routes that he takes. You can see his mindset when he does things. He plays he's actually a proper teammate. Like, he actually backs his teammates in fights. Like, this guy is getting suffocated in a team that needs help. And and to be honest, Renkor is looking like that as well. Like, Renkor's gotten so much better on this team. But I look at someone like Lucky, who continuously underperforms, and I just think in my head, drop this guy. Like, get him gone. Because every time we talk about Heretics, we're like, oh, they have so much potential. Someone like Lucky is one of the reasons why they get held back from that potential. It is actually a player thing. Sometimes it's a team thing. With this team, it's a player thing. I don't think it's a culture thing. I don't think it's the way that they approach Call of Duty. I think it's actually a player diff. It is a skill diff. It is a skill issue. Like the same way I said Snoopy needs help, I even think that this team has more potential than Boston, because Real and Renkor are a great duo.
I agree.
You have your SMG and your AR solid. Metals up and down sometimes. I think you can keep him, but even Metals you can upgrade. Like, they just need, I don't know if it's time to look outside of the Spanish camp. And because Real has played on the English team, Renkor's played on the English team before, with English players, speaking players. So I feel like this, it's hard to say, but I feel like this all Spanish team might have to stop, because I don't know who else you pick up from that scene. They've tried other players, from like I think Eric Boom and somebody else. Like, they've tried other players and it just hasn't made them any better, because individually they've not played well. So I'm really upset for this team, because I feel like there's two players on here that are getting really, really held back from making waves for their country in the CDL. Like, it's really disappointing to see.
I would say, based on that, or everything that everything that everyone has said, I would give them a bit of credit. Looking at the game against Thieves, I mean, they took them to like the last round on the control. The search and destroy was somewhat close, and in the hard points, the last hard point, they lost by 43 points, and then they won the first hard point on based on time. So I look at Thieves as the team that makes it uncomfortable for you. Like you as a team, as a good team, you would think that you're gonna pick up whatever maps or whatever, but you know that it's gonna be an uncomfortable game, because they do have it in them to actually go the wire, and it's actually evidence in their maps, especially on LAN against Thieves, that they made that uncomfortable for them. Thieves didn't steamroll in that. It wasn't a 3-0 control. We know Thieves have got it in them, but it wasn't. The search and destroy as well was a 6-4 to Thieves. So Heretics my analysis based on that is they look like they're the team that make it uncomfortable for you. Like what Piggy said, they do that. They make those slight changes. If they leave the whole Spanish roster kind of like format, they could flip the whole from making it uncomfortable for you to actually beating you if they get the right players.
I think what would be interesting is for us to potentially, I don't know if we find the time to be able to do it, but maybe actually pinpoint like maybe the makeup of what sort of players would benefit or would help benefit from the other players on this roster. Because I don't think it's like I said, like my issue isn't so much against the better teams. I think once you've now added those additions, I can then scrutinize you against the better teams. But the teams around you are where I think you guys have the talent, you have the ability, but there is some sort of disconnect. And I don't want to say it's a more mental aspect. I think it's more so there are areas where maybe a few players are playing exceedingly well, and then a few players are just not up to scratch. And look, we've been looking at Heretics for well over a year now, and it seems like the same conversation needs to be had. We've obviously seen players that have produced heavily in the league that have gone under much less circumstances. So I think I'd like to maybe there's a thing where we look at a draft, or maybe there's a player that you guys have in mind that boom goes straight into Heretics and absolutely transforms that team into a team that effectively will then, you know, look at that top 6 or even that top 5. That's like, cool, they deserve to be there.
Mean, if it could be anyone, like throw Hook in this team, bro. Like
I was thinking the same thing.
Replace Metals with Hook and kick Lucky and I don't know, pick up anyone on RCs, a Priest or an Attached. They get better. Like they just do. They just get better.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they become a top 4 team or anything, but it's just a direct upgrade. If it's not a language barrier or a culture barrier, then you know, that's not a thing. There's a lot of people you could put in this Heretics team and they get immediately better. They're on other teams right now and they're not performing. But that's why I think it's such a shame that that's potentially a reason why they haven't made a change. And it's like, come on, man.
Something's got to give, you know?
But I mean, as they are at the moment, because we have to take them, I guess, as they are. I mean,
they'll be our first D team for sure.
No, I think they're C. I think they're better than Boston.
The reason why I say they're D is because they started in losers and they finished in losers. Like there was no progression whatsoever. Like how do you go into C without any progression? Do you get where I'm coming from? Like despite the games you had against Thieves, you still lost. You know. So you started in losers, finish in losers, you start in D. Like that's where you were. You don't really move from where you are, kind of thing.
I don't mind putting them in D for now, only because I kind of hear it like. I actually, even though I think 2 of these players are really, really good, and I only really respect Snoopy and Boston, I do think as a team right now, Boston are just able to enable Snoopy enough to where like someone like Cammy will start to pick it up because you know they're playing as a team. I just feel like they can maybe pull off a little bit more. But it's not a big distance.
It's not far.
It's not far at all. I think it's just technicalities and nuances. Like, I just so bad want to see them do well, man. I just want to see them make like a 2-man change and it just transforms the team because I think it's possible. But hey, moving on, our minor runners up and our major runners up. Vancouver Surge.
I'm happy to see this. Actually, I'm happy to see this. I mean, if we look back a year ago in terms of the roster that they had at the time, there was a matter of what if and can they surely they can, as opposed to okay, now we're seeing where they should be, and effectively it's come down to quite a few things, but we've seen glimpses here that's almost like okay, they deserve to be in this area, or essentially this close to being winners. And well, I mean, credit to them, it wasn't easy games. None of their games looked like they were relatively like I guess clean. I think they all had to kind of dig deep and obviously
a little bit of grafting.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I'd say that you know they've definitely got ways to go in terms of winning, but and I think obviously that's down to you know the likes of playing a phase that are just well and truly just in like I want to say flow state at this moment in time. But yeah, no, they are definitely. I think by Major 2 they are where they want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, say.
The question was: are these guys legit? Right? Are they actually the real deal? Was the qualifiers a bit of a fluke? Is Neptune a one-hit wonder? Did he come in for a week or 2 and cause a stir and then drop off?
Yeah.
You know, is there runner-up at the minor just online? Kind of similar to like you know, the fact that Carolina is actually looking like onliners. It was like same question mark, right? And they came to this LAN and it just put the faith in everybody on this team, and rightfully so. Like it would have been so disappointing if they played badly at this tournament. It would have been one of the most shocking, like, wow, you actually like
you had us in the first half.
Bro. And but I really like the players on this team. Granted, I don't know. I'm not convinced on Nasty personally. I think Nasty's cool, but I don't think he's anything special. I'll put that out there. I think he's all right. He does have some good maps, but I just feel like he doesn't. I don't know. I feel like you could replace him if you wanted to. Not that they need to, but I think if there's anyone replaceable in this team, it's probably Nasty, right? But he still does what he needs to do when he needs to do it. But you look at this team and you're like, Obuzo went through a period of being so bad.
And this is somebody that had a lot of promise as well.
He had so much potential. He came into the league and he was stupid, ridiculous. Now, granted, they had so many team changes and it probably never got comfortable as well. He had a role issue at the beginning as well. Like, what role do we put him on? SMG, AR, all of that stuff. But when a Boozer is comfortable, he's a top AR. It's not a question. He is. It's actually his POV is insane to look at sometimes. He literally looks like he doesn't miss. He looks like he shoots as straight as like any other top AR. Like he's so fun to watch. He's so fun to watch. And 04, in my opinion, is starting to really play a lot better as well. I see someone that also got a lot of praise when he came into the league, especially for like just some of the like other game modes, like their like Control and S&D. Like he went for a stint of like playing really bad, particularly in those two game modes. And I think it hurt them as a team, but now he's picked up a lot. And that's probably why you're seeing a lot of success with his Surge team, even if it's like a 3-2, 3-1. Like they're kind of going the distance and putting it out. But I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Neptune has transformed this team into something else. This guy has done something special.
I think when you even look at just like when teams have obviously like ran the risk of, you know, going into like your last couple of games, or you're like going into your qualifiers or your majors, and things haven't necessarily gone well, let's say from the start of the season, and you know, they're afraid of taking that risk in bringing somebody in, or being able to kind of add a different dimension to the team, because it effectively might just be that one way is not working, they need to find another way. This obviously shows you that can pay off. I think obviously from a perspective of looking at the bigger teams in the league, they're a bit more scared, or a bit more less what's the word? Less likely to go ahead and do it.
Take a risk on a player.
Yeah. I mean, look, I haven't watched Neptune stupendously a lot, but I would say that from the perspective of what he's been able to do in a short period of time, that's somebody that, you know, it just shows you what can be done when, you know, decisions are made.
He's a great player. He's a great player. I did want to ask Warren. I want to specifically ask your opinion on the finals, between Vancouver Surge and Faze, because yes, it was a 4-0, but when you like break it down a little bit more, and you actually see like this obviously I feel like they got outplayed in the two hard points. That's literally what caused this 4-0. It's the hard points. But I don't know. I feel like it looks like a wash at first glance, but I still feel like they kind of there's moments where they did put up a fight, or at least try to. I just think they just came up against Thanos, and Thanos had all the Infinity Stones. You know that moment where Captain America, like, he's fighting Thanos, and Thanos has his whole fist, and Captain America's holding the fist, and he's actually like stopping him. Like for a moment, he actually stopped him, and then he got dashed to the side. That's what this looked like to me. Like there was a moment, it was like, wait, are they about to take map 3 maybe?
And then any form of like sliver of hope just got dashed in it. I know what you mean.
So give me your thoughts on what you think happened at this grand finals, if you have any.
I don't know. A part of me feels like maybe a lot of steam was used against Ultra. It was like, okay, we lost in the winners finals. Now it's kind of like we need to somewhat go all out to ensure we win the grand finals. And then you've now got to find your second wind for the grand finals. And that is a position that FaZe have seen themselves in numerous amount of times. Like what we said before, I think FaZe just know how to just turn it on when it comes to certain moments, where it be the winners finals or grand finals. Even despite the scoreline, I know some would say, they got absolutely outplayed, but I still think, like Surge still held their own to some extent. But I do truly feel like, just my personal opinion, like a lot of their steam went out on Ultra, because then now you got to play a best of 7 against FaZe, who have had time to rest, had time to discuss what needs to be corrected, what they did wrong, what they did right, you know, assess certain things, and they can even watch the game between the Ultra and Surge. So
it's true. I mean,
I personally think a lot, like their first hard point was they won 250 to 239. Now that's a long game to play, you know, in a losers elimination finals. And then your S&D, you lost 6-4. These games are game stamina is a thing you got to take into account. Do you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I think it's important to note as well, because I completely agree with what you're saying. We also need to remember they actually did face Faze before that, and they lost 3-2. And if you look at the gamers that they got stomped and maps, they got stomped on the protocol hardpoint and the Hacienda hardpoint. When they lost 3-2 to Faze, do you know what gamers they won? Both hardpoints. Surge won both hardpoints. Do you know what maps they were? Vault and Red Card.
That's
so they didn't get any. They didn't get any of their picks coming into this grand finals, and I think it really. Like, we don't always talk about vetoes, and because the map pool's really weird right now. Like we'll talk about maps one day, but it shows you how important map vetoes are, because Surge beat Thieves 250 to 164 and 250 to 168 on their maps, but they lost in the same fashion on 2 maps that they wouldn't have picked.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? The S&D, granted they lost in both, but on the red card S&D, they only lost 6-4. On the Skyline, they lose 6-1. Like, I really feel like, and then Faze won both protocol controls. So I think like we were saying about how deep Faze's map pool goes, they're just able to kind of, like, I feel like if Surge don't get their picks against this team, they're just not going to win.
Yeah, and I think, even to just add to that, that kind of gives me the whole, I know Warren's going to laugh at this statement, but it's kind of like the boys versus men kind of like an analogy, because I used to watch a Chelsea side of yesteryear destroy my Arsenal team time and time again, and it was more of a physicality battle more than anything. And I feel like with this, that's more so like they can compete in any sort of passing style. They can compete in any type of formation. Like when it comes to the physicality or essentially the added experience of having that, that's what will definitely be the difference. And I think for Vancouver Surge here, not being able to kind of attack on those kind of strengths that obviously Faze do have, that's where you're gonna have your issues. I mean, look, I think it's I'll say it's a valiant effort considering they already played them previously in the series. Definitely. And more importantly, like they again, you can only play to your strengths, and if your strengths aren't there, then you just got to do the best you can.
Indeed.
But I definitely agree with Warren, man. This was just an unbeatable Faze. It was looking like a Faze that just isn't. No,
it's a valiant effort from Surge. Like what they done, like they made it all the way to the winners finals, and then you faced an ultra team who just smacked everyone. You beat them, and then now you got a Faze who's pretty much
just
up for it in the grand finals. Yeah, like it's. I'm not looking at the scoreline too much. I'm just looking at the effort more importantly. Like it's a Surge team who's just come out of like nowhere. Well, I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but the moment Neptune joined Surge, it was like, right, our team's gotten better and we've proved it now. Do you know what I mean? And they've got a brilliant coach in Rambo, so I'm kind of not surprised that they're.
It's a top 3 team.
I'm not surprised. My statement is, I'm not surprised that they're overachieving, considering the Neptune pickup and then Rambo and their coach. Surge as an org have overachieved this season. Yeah, for sure. Like, congrats to them for sure. Like, 100%.
To just like sum up on the Seattle Surge, I also want to put up a clip. I also put up a quick clip. And this is after map 1 of, and this series, this Vancouver Surge and Toronto Ultra series was just like trash talk back and forth, bro. Like Beans and Neptune were just going bar for bar, because it was a mad series.
Hey, Nasty dropped he dropped a
1.38. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Nasty has good maps. He does. He does have good maps. That's why sometimes he pops off. But
he might be a low-key pick for the fantasy.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm paying attention.
This guy's already doing the scouting.
Just in case, like, because if you end up being in between, like, if you're not the first, second, or third pick in fantasy, you can't. No, you want to be first or last. First, second, third, or last. I think. Yeah. Because then you get the double pick.
I was last, by the way. But so this is after their map 1 win against Ultra, and I just want to shout out to Trash Talk. You don't hear this, yeah?
Yep. Oh.
He said, "Don't you ever fucking do."
Look at me. Please look at me.
Keep saying beans.
Please. Oh, beans.
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 The magic of ever try that again. Don't you ever try to fuck with me, Beans.
Bro, this is one of of the funniest things I saw, and I'm so happy I was watching it through the Scott Watch Party, because that is the most polite trash talk I've ever actually seen.
Yeah.
And Bose's impression was spot on.
Yeah.
Like, don't you ever talk to me, Bean. Like, oh man. Yeah, that just sums up Neptune, you know? Like,
that's what the CDL needs. You got everyone swearing and stuff. You just got Neptune. Don't you ever do Beans.
Look at me. No, I just had to put that in there, man. If people saw it live, oh, I know you.
Nah, guys, you gotta leave a like for that one. That's funny, man.
You gotta leave a like. That was crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think overall, after everything we're saying about Surge, I feel like there's only one rightful place for them in this lineup.
Yep.
Amongst the two greats.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would say so.
I would say so.
They earned it. They earned it. They're legit. We actually have our top four. I feel like the Faze, Ultra, LA Thieves, and Surge is on our new top four, and it's just insane that.
That's actually a healthy top four, because the gap's not too much between second, third, and fourth. The gap is not too far.
Yeah, the
gap between A and S is quite a big one at this moment in time.
It's which one of you guys is going to dethrone Faze at this point?
Oh yeah, no, exactly.
Someone's got to do it. You know,
someone's got
coming up next, the team that, you know, if someone has a lot to say about it, please do feel free. But I ain't got a lot to say about this team.
We ain't got no time for none of that.
We got Vegas Falcons.
I'll be so honest with you. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it like this is poor for me. Like, I might lose stocks in saying this, but Vegas Falcons are the only team that I do not give a flying F about. Okay. I'll be honest, they haven't showed enough for me to say, do you know what? I'm going to look out for this particular player because he's performing well. Like, there isn't a player in the roster that is alone telling me, yeah, watch out. Like, I'm the star player for this team. I will carry this team. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not like a Snoopy Boston.
That's the problem. Exactly. That's the problem. And look, it goes back to what we said in our prediction as well. Like, you're gonna assemble a team. I feel like it's a lack of doing homework. This is almost like doing a dissertation and submitting a plagiarized essay. Yeah. Look, we know the formula works, but your formula is not working. Yeah. Whatever it is you guys are doing, ask questions. Ask questions around the league. Look, I go as far as saying, there's a team in Challengers that I feel if they looked at I speak about Omit quite a lot, but if they looked at Omit actually have good players. They know how the league works. They know how to play the game to a point where it's competitive integrity is obviously endowed, and just being able to, do something. You guys not doing anything. I'm sorry,
listen, I'm gonna keep it up, but blow this team all the way up. Drop every single player, the coaching staff.
Should have spent their money on Biffle and Shifty, drop mate. The GM. That's your AR and SMGs there.
Drop the social media manager for the CDL, only for the CDL, because I like the social media manager for Apex. If the same person, then I don't know what happened. Drop everybody associated with the CDL team immediately. Any decision maker needs to just be silence. This team should not be in the league. Point blank period. D team, bogey team, not making it to champs. There because they got money. That's it. I cannot sugarcoat this anymore.
And that's why I thought that's also why I'm just
think it's a bit of coincidence that when Biffle joined Vegas Falcons and then they won the Warzone tournaments, they somehow buy themselves in the CDL.
Mm-hmm.
No, they just had money.
This is supposed to be his final year competing in Warzone.
No, they just had money. This is not the only esport. I've said it before. Falcons have bought top players in every single esport that makes real money because they are the head of EWC. Where is EWC held? Saudi. What team is this? A Saudi team. It's money. It's the first time we've actually seen something like this happen. They are respect to the players. I heard they're really great guys and they actually do try their asses off. They are not ready. They got shagged. They're probably getting a nice paycheck, so shout out to them, man. But they should not be in the league. There's Challengers teams that should be in the league and take that spot. They're literally taking place of somebody else's spot.
Yep.
And it's really sad to see. But I'm actually happy I'm happy this is happening because I think we need to stop letting orgs just come into the league and splash money, and they're not actually doing anything in the league. They're not actually forwarding the esport. This is not helping the esport. Just unfortunately drop your whole squad and look at some EU, NA, whatever other region it is, Latin America talent, anywhere else.
And there's no better place than to look at challenges, bro.
Look at challenges, man. Give them a shot. Give them a
Yeah.
shot. But it's just, it's not it, man. This is a bogey team. This is free 10 CDL points every time.
Hey, man, you need your points.
But
Back
yeah,
them up.
definitely D, maybe even E rank.
Yeah, I mean, really, we should really just leave them on ranks. But I'm allowed them in. I feel
No, but
bad
this is why I feel like
putting
I feel bad on
with
Heretics. That's why,
I feel bad putting them next to Heretics. But really and truly, it just for the we're not we're gonna leave it like this, but we're gonna make
this
sure
is just for the major anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, if we had to look at it from grand scheme of things, then yeah.
Right. Next team, Minnesota Rokkr, Chai, Big Chai. I'm gonna let Warren start this off. I'm gonna let Warren kick this off. He knows why.
Do you know what? Yeah, Minnesota Rokkr, they were crazy promising. Crazy promising. I mean, my two SMGs in my fantasy team being Estriel and Nero. Estriel kept his performance going. You know, he is a very consistent SMG. I've actually seen a lot of people say Estriel might even deserve to be in the top team with the performance that he's been putting up. Nero, for me, kind like he dropped off the ball as the major was coming. Like he in the minor tournament, he was hot, but then now the performances has just dropped. Now I don't know if that's because of the role he's playing in this team. Like if he's making like he's more of a risk taker or more of an entry kind of SMG, then fair enough. But I think this team has potential to make champs. I generally do. I think I do have stocks in this team. I mean, despite being 10th, I think they can do it. I think they can go pound for pound against Cloud9. I think they can beat Miami. I think they have the ability to probably beat a Boston. They do have the ability to beat majority of the teams above them, barring the top 4.
Yeah, they actually could.
Like they can actually go pound for pound with every single team that's above them, despite their current win. They just need to get it right. You have the players that can do it, because when they played against Faze, I think in the qualifiers or whatever, one of the qualifiers, they did really well. And then when you're doing really well, I know it's online, but when you're going like pound for pound, maybe even taking maps against Faze, for example, that's something big that you should take on board, that maybe you should even double down on. Like watch back those VODs twice, 3 times, 4 times. What worked in those games? I think my favorite player will obviously be Estriel. Like he's a top guy. Like he carried my fantasy team personally.
Yeah.
Like it across every stat, S&D, hard point control. He did it. Like he was a good player. So
do you think that this team can stay together and make something happen as a 4? Or do you feel like
they're gonna have to? I think they're gonna have to. In order to get into the for your next qualifier major, because if they don't, then I can definitely.
Do you know what it is though? A common player that does get dropped is Paul X. Paul X is a bit of a he jumps from team to team to team. I think one or 2 changes. It's the same with Miami. It's like if you change like 2 of your players, because you've got 2 players who can do their thing, and that's like I think that's Nero and Estriel personally. Yeah. I think even Gio sometimes even holds his own.
Yeah,
Gio holds his own as well. That's why I think it's only a 1 roster change maybe. And Paul X, like to a 0.5 overall in the.
I learned my lesson with Paul X after the first qualifier major. I said no.
The thing is, I rated Paul X in the Vanguard season, right, on the Royal Ravens. Like he was shooting, but this is not better. Vanguard. This is Black Ops 6.
He was actually better right then. That's a big sense.
But I mean, it's tough as well. You got Faze and then OpTic. You know, like that's just. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want about OpTic, but they're still, they still have shot C dashy and
exactly.
Like,
and it was on land. It's kind of like all to play for kind of thing. Like forget about what you lot have seen form wise. It's just this is today. All our practices, all those onliners, is for this day.
Yeah.
And they got thrashed. You know. By both of the top teams, you know, if they even picked up a map win, then I can probably give them a bit of grace in like analyzing a particular performance. But it's harder when you've literally been thrashed.
They just look weak across the board. Their pacing is the only thing that I think they have going for them. I think they have decent pacing with their players.
Yeah.
I like how they move around the map, but I think it's just like after that, it's not a lot of redeeming qualities right now. And I do think Paul X is where you start looking at someone to just upgrade on this team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think that they can actually make champs because they're only 15 CDL points away from 6th. Like, so
that's how close things are.
That's how close it is. From 6th to flipping 10th is 15 CDL points. That's like a win and a half. So something can happen. Something can happen, but they definitely have to make a change. Like there's no way this team just starts to, hit a stride, especially when you got people like C9, who I don't see them staying in top 9. I see them moving up, potentially.
Yep.
So yeah, I think for now, when we're kind of talking about where we place them, based on, unfortunately, the league so far,
I'd say D.
I can't really justify above D right now. I think they're worse than both Boston and Ravens.
Boston, I put them C, but
I think it's a matter of who else you're potentially even put in C at present. But I do think, like, based off of, I don't think D is a bad place to be in. For them, I don't think D is a bad place to be in at present because it's not off of like how we look at them and just like, okay, that's impossible. They're not going to get anywhere. Yeah, it's the same way I think like we still look at Miami Heretics as a dark horse and they need to look into gear.
Rokkr have far more potential than Vegas and Heretics, so that's why they don't deserve to be in D because their potential to make champs is by far higher than them two, like for sure.
As of right now, they're just as shit. So it's like I can't really do it based on potential because I'm like,
that's what I was gonna say.
I mean, Heretics are above them. They played better in both qualifiers on and LAN, so I can't even put them there. I can only put them with.
If they're D,
putting
then
Heretics
they're above
in D
Falcons,
is actually
then.
Probably mad.
Yeah, of course. Falcons, bro. Everybody's above Falcons.
Let me tell you something. They're above more than Falcons, but we'll get there in it. We'll get there. But they're definitely above multiple teams in this game. But I think if we're gonna put Heretics in D, I think we can't justify putting Rokkr in anywhere else, unfortunately. I'm gonna do one of these. But yeah, I mean they could play better, but again, it's like they have to make a change at this point. Same thing for Heretics. All these teams down here, it's like this is the blow up column. Like this is literally the blow it all the way up.
Yep.
Dynamite. That's what the D stands for.
Dynamite. I'm dead.
Right. Next.
Oh boy, topic of conversation. Topic of the whole major.
Hurts me, I don't even want to. Someone else.
I ain't got much to say. I think a lot has been said by the public about OpTic. To be honest, I think it's just now. I think everyone knows that. If you watch the CDL, now. Give this team the time to now adjust to the new roster change, and I don't think anyone's would be ignorant in thinking that OpTic won't be back. I think even them being direct rivals to Faze, even I know, even not watching the CDL for that long, as some of you might have been watching it from like the beginning, like from the CWO. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah. So I think the skies change is positive. I think that's a positive change. I think the fact that do you know is what I like as well? Just slightly going off topic. It's just the fact that Skies has always wanted to be on OpTic. I think there's just an added boost to that. I think he's gonna. It's like in football or in any sport actually. When it comes to playing for the badge, like they will die for like Skies will die for OpTic kind of thing. He seems like that kind of player. Someone who's going to be invested in ensuring that the way we play. It works. It's tight. Everything we're doing, everyone knows what they're doing, like their roles and the call outs, etc., etc. It's just giving them time. You've just got to simply give them time. Like we all saw the way they were performing under Kenny. That's literally in the past now. Major 2, they tried to do a little something. They won their first map against Rokkr, and then obviously you came up against an Ultra. And now I think it will be harsh to judge OpTic on that game against an Ultra team who kicked on form after that. Like, they beat an OpTic
Thieves.
and then they literally kicked on from that. So I think it'll be a bit. I would say judge them in the onliners and stuff from here on. Don't judge them based off the LAN and there before. Like, this is kind of like, I wouldn't say a new era, but it's just like they've wiped the slate clean now with this new roster challenge.
They're
with this
one of
new
the
roster
only top
change.
teams that have had to do this. Like,
Yeah,
they're great. I get it. LA Thieves, like, freshly formed, but they literally picked up, like, they called it a superstar team. Like, you know, like you're literally a super squad. Like, you look at all, like, what the top 4 teams were, and it's like, well, OpTic is... yeah, we got 3 of these players, but it just seems like everything about them has changed with the game. Like, this is like, we can no longer look at them as the same OpTic that they were last year. I think they're still learning this game. They're still learning, like, how to play together on this particular game. And I think it's just taking them a little bit longer than other teams to figure it out.
Well.
It does hurt because you want to, like, when you root for a team like that just won champs, you want to have that grace period of, like, I can kind of relax and feel comfortable. It's what I feel like Faze fans get. Like, even if Faze aren't getting first, they're getting second. You know what I mean? It's like, it's still consistent. Whereas with OpTic, I felt like for the last, like, a good few years, I think with OpTic has been chasing, like, that level of consistency that, like, the Dynasty team had. And they're really struggling to find it because you got Illy Stum mashing up, you got Scump retiring, you've got, you know, Dashy behavioral problems and not coming to scrims and then getting benched. Like, you've got Pred going away for personal reasons. You've got Kenny, a championship player that all of a sudden can't shoot back in this game. Like, it's not, problems are not normal. These problems are not, like, a lot of these problems are out of game. And a lot of it does stop a team from creating a culture together. And OpTic are going through, like, this weird period where they are just trying to figure it out. And I think that they need to take their time. There's all these quick fixes are exactly why they keep having these types of issues. They need to just, I'm not saying start from scratch with the players, but I'm saying start from scratch with the mindset of what you're actually trying to do here.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Your longevity. Do you players want to be playing under OpTic for the next 5 years? How do we do that? And I think Skies is a good starting point. I don't know if he's going to be the only change they make. I think that Pred needs to be very careful about how he plays moving forward, because you do have a Hugh who's sitting on, maybe sitting on the bench, not even on the team. You have one of the best players in the game, just not on the team. And I feel like you just don't drop Dashy or Shotzi. They just don't get dropped. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, they haven't played bad enough anyway to get dropped. And I look at those 2 players as, like, the future of OpTic. So yeah, it's just like, as Warren said, give them time, man. This is a new team. So, okay, it's a brand new team. They're middle of the pack right now in the standings. They came, granted, Skies didn't have the best performance, but, you know, first land in how many freaking months? I'm gonna allow him. I'm gonna give him some grace. And every other player, you know, went positive. There were signs of life here and there, but they just came up across Ultra, who 3-0'd flipping half the teams in the flipping tournament. So you know, I think they'll get better, and I think that I think also this is good. It's good to see high caliber players having to figure out. They're not freaks, they're not aliens, they are all human.
Bit like Man City.
They're learning. Yeah. Legit, actually. So yeah, it's placement wise is hard-ish. I mean, I guess you would you
I'd
agree?
put them high
middle of the
C.
pack?
It depends what are we, if we're basing it off like LAN. Because
Well, yeah, I'm basing it off. I guess we should mostly do it off land, but I'm also basing it off of overall in general as well. Like, a lot of these other teams down here, they haven't, not once have they showed me at any stage this year.
Yeah, I did think OpTic would be our first B team.
Yeah, just
They're in the
The
middle.
thing is, though,
They're close to
some would say though, which I would understand, how could OpTic currently be B despite the online performance that they had
yeah.
in Major 2, and then remember they got battered across the board like everywhere,
Yeah.
and then also they only won 1 game on LAN. You know, like I would. Well, no, there's still 2 other teams, so I guess that's just provisional.
I don't mind
right?
if you want to put them in C. I can't really argue.
I would just say based on their online and then the LAN, they would be somewhat a high C.
Yeah.
I would say it's just You have to be realistic here because the OpTic kind of aura is pushing through there than being in the B. You know, remember, I'm not I don't see, there's no biasness on my side, like, so that's why I'm kind of being skeptical about it because like I said, I keep reiterating, but their onliners with the online qualifiers, it was terrible. It was 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. Do you know what I mean? And then on land, they Major 2. Okay, yeah, they beat Minnesota Rokkr, but then got smacked by Ultra. It wasn't like it was a 3-1, but the hard point was really close, or the S&D was really close, or even the S&D was gapped in some way. Do you know? Do you get where I'm coming from?
You got a point. I mean, they're losing to like every team online. It's just the way it is. It's just a switch up. It's like the stage. They had a damn near perfect stage 1, and then stage 2. I
think what puts them B, I would say, is probably their current CDL ranking. Yeah, the CDL ranking definitely places them in a B.
How much stock did we give other teams for that? Because we have to. I guess you're right. We have to be fair. Like if we didn't.
How I kind of look at it is.
I don't know. Well, actually, no. I think it kind of the only team. Okay, if that's the case.
That's why I would have put Heretics in C.
Yeah, if that's the case, if we, you're right. If we put OpTic in B, we have to put Heretics in C because, like, if we're looking at overall rankings as like a very like viable factor, then that's enough to put Heretics in C. But
and Surge also only 5 points behind OpTic or something like that. If we look at the ranking, there's a team that's only 5 points behind them or 50 points behind them or something like that.
No. But look, Boston is tied. And Heretics is
Boston's
10 points
tied.
behind. Yeah, Boston's tied.
So we probably shouldn't do off that then.
Yeah. So should we put them in C?
Yeah, I think they're a C for sure.
Yeah.
At this current moment.
That makes, you know what? Yes. Wait, that means we have no one. Are we gonna have no one in B? Is B just there?
Hey, if that's how it goes, that's how it goes. But we got 2 other teams.
Do you know what? I like this, and I'll explain why afterwards. But I actually did, if that's the case, then
because I know what B kind of tells me.
Yeah.
B tells me that you progressed and you let's say you beat a Thieves on your way to whatever, but then you lost to an Ultra, or you beat an Ultra but then lost to a Surge on your way kind of thing. That's where I would probably put you. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, I agree. We'll see how this fills out for the rest of we got 2 more teams left to slot, which I don't think will take us very long. But we have a LA's Guerrillas, mate. I'm sorry, this team is. I have to laugh. This is insane. This is.
It's not even. Do you know what it is? It's not even a team that I could look at and say it's got potential. It's just not looking good. I have to be realistic here, folks. I'm honest. Like, we see a Kismet, we see a Lins, we see a Pre-Star, but guys, let's keep it 100. This team is not just underperforming; they're doing terrible. They're doing absolutely terrible.
Like, we want to talk about how shocking Kenny's downfall has been. My God, look at Priester and Kismet. They are 2
Exactly. That's everyone wants to point fingers at the guy that plays for the top team, sure. But then if you're really locked in and you're watching the CDL, point your fingers at the guy who won champs not too long ago, like 2 seasons ago. Literally. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a Priester who's played in a Faze team and all that kind of stuff. You two should be bringing the experience and like the know-how to this team, and
it's just not...
you're failing.
It doesn't matter who this team brings. Like, they brought in Lunas, and it's like Lunas is just coming into a team that already sucks. Like, so he's just gonna suck as well. Like, it's you just got to start again, man. This is another like. Just
Answer, hit the reset button. LA
hit
Thieves
the reset,
star.
man. I don't know what this team can do. Like, granted, okay, they have 1 dub. Whoop-tee, I guess.
But even the 1 dub, who was it against?
I can actually check this current season.
They probably be like a Miami Vegas.
Vegas. Blow it up. I'm gone. You know what? We ain't here to waste no one's time.
Now, this is what I was interested to get on here.
Yes.
This is what I was interested about. This team
Cloud9
was going to be my first B-ranked team.
New York.
They were going to be my first B-ranked team. And it's the way they played. I know they got freed by Thieves, right? But there was some clutch moments. Yeah. No, it wasn't. No, it was against Ultra. I think it was the hard point. Attach and Sib was going dumb in that hard point. I think it was Hacienda.
I can't believe they 3-0'd them. Such a shock.
Yeah, crazy. They got that's the winners bracket, I'm sure. Yeah, that
was winners. That was winners.
This team, we can talk about having potential. We can talk about this team having
They do.
potential.
Yeah.
This team can grow. This team can get better for sure.
They have it's so weird. Like they're such slow burners. I kind of want them to speed up a little bit, but you can't force it. But
Can't force that, yeah, for real.
when we've spoken about like before this major, I spoke about Mac and how impactful that he can be on this team. I'd even mention Kremp. Kremp played great in that series against Ultra. He played amazing. I didn't even bring him up. And then you got Sib, who I don't know, man. That guy just keeps getting better.
He's an anomaly. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like Sib is actually an anomaly. He does what he wants, kind of. Do you know what it is? Alright, Timo, you'll appreciate this reference. Sib, yeah, is like Dennis Rodman. I swear to you, he's like the Dennis Rodman of the CDL. Like outside of CDL, he'll do whatever he wants, smoke whatever marijuana he wants, cool. But then when it comes to the CDL, you can't like, you know, he will do his thing in the CDL. The problem is though, is that I'm now seeing a lot of on and off moments because I know Sib is a very good AR. It's just there's too many on and off moments. The on and off moments are too consistent. Which means that you're not a consistent player.
I mean,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
This was a 3-0. It was the closest 3-0
it was the closest 3-0 ever. Oh my goodness.
It could have easily
been
no,
this is what I'm saying. And this is against the team that we kind of look at and think they're the closest to the S rank. Semi closest to the S rank that we have on this tier list. So you might hear this like
to be in B.
I can't even
but
argue
it's like
with this one.
They iced. Look how many times they iced up.
But you know what?
3 in a row. They iced up 3 in a row. Some might say, like fluke or whatever, but they iced up 3 in a row, and then Ultra went on to just do a madness. Now the thing is, some would say if Ultra then played a Cloud9 again, would that be the same result?
They would probably lose. They would probably lose. This literally was almost a 3-0 to Ultra. Well. Like, do you know what's crazy? Because like we say that, but then we put Boston in C, and they 3-1 Thieves, who then went on to win 3 matches and then lose against Ultra. So like it's like I get that this is impressive. True, I do, and I personally put up a bit more stock into players like Sib and Mac. And this team overall, I feel like they are one team that could not make a change and then go on a run. Do you know what I'm saying? Like doesn't 100% need to make a change. And you know, again, like looking at the tournament, you know, they lost to Faze and lost to Thieves. Like these are great teams they're losing to. Do you know what I mean? It's not bad teams, but I just feel like that B slot. I still feel like they're not there yet.
Okay,
I'll be real. I don't think there's a single team on this tier list that deserves to be in B. Which is weird, but like let's say because we didn't ever do a major 1 tier list, right? So let's say we did have like let's say we had OpTic. Would have had OpTic in A. Like,
OpTic would have been in A because they had a good start.
Let's say we had Ravens in B, and we probably would have had Surge in B because they didn't have Neptune, right? What would have? Let's say like everyone else stayed the same, and then Surge went to A and OpTic went to C. There would be no B team.
Okay.
That's why like we don't need it.
I see the logic.
Yeah, I kind of get that one still. Yeah.
Yeah. Like to put someone in B right now, it just seems like all these teams are just not there yet. Like there's
a clear gap between the top half and the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, there's a clear gap.
C, but
okay.
This is where it gets interesting, and this is where like obviously our tier list is pretty much done now, so we'll talk a bit towards the future. But this is where stage 3, you know, the major 3 qualifiers and minor and major is really gonna like these teams are gonna have to move up if they want to make champs, and these teams need to just stay consistent.
And, boy, what I'm gonna say is like by the end of it, I'd like to see at least 1 out of the A hitting moving to S. And really kind of stake claim in terms of being up there with the likes of Faze.
Yeah,
but we need a bunch of those C's and D's to move up to a B.
And they can. It's like it's not like literally you like Ravens figures out how to do what they practice in qualifiers at LAN. They're automatically a B team. Cloud9 continues to get better at the pace they're getting better at already. They're easily a B team. Listen, Boston makes 1 change. And they might look like a completely different team. They're B. Like OpTic have a bit more time. They might just jump right back to S. Not S, sorry, to A. They could just skip B altogether. You look at these teams below, like Rokkr makes like 1 change, maybe 2. They might be in C or B as well. Heretics, like these teams can get to B. But as they are now, there is a very, very big gap. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
And a 1 or 2 upsets, you know, when you look at Boston versus Thieves, or you look at Cloud9 versus Ultra, is not enough to put them in B.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, based on form as well and LAN performance. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's all.
That's interesting. I think our tier list is very unique. Like,
very
and
different.
I think it's justified as well. I think it's totally justified.
Yeah. Very, very different. But I like this. We have a good reason why this is here. And we will be doing a major 3, you know, post major 3 tier list as well, so we actually see how this would change. But I think
we need to screenshot this and put this on the TL.
Yeah, we do. This is a very consistent
Let's say we'll download it.
league though. Yeah, I'm gonna. But this is a very competitive league. This is one of the most competitive seasons we've had, and I love every.
And for a while as well.
Yeah, it gets me really excited, and I love watching the matches. I love talking COD. I love the Fantasy League, and yeah,
she's loving it now. She's on top of the league, dog.
Yeah, second in the first place. It don't feel too shabby, you know. It don't feel too shabby, but you know we'll be running it back. Really quickly, I do want to touch on MVP. Who is your MVP? Obviously, I think Cell got the official MVP of the tournament, I believe. Rightfully so. The guy's a beast.
Yeah, 1.7 grand finals type shit.
I would like to know, if not Cell, we'll keep us in the top 4 teams. Other than Faze, who is your MVP? And you can pick between Ultra, Thieves, and Vancouver Surge.
It'll probably be Joe Deceives.
Yep, I'd agree.
It'd probably be Joe Deceives, man. He turned up. I watched most of Ultra's games. In fact, like you said, Piggy, like Ultra, if it's not Faze, it's Ultra who I actually look forward to when it comes to their games, because they just play textbook Call of Duty. And Joe Deceives, like he paints death in 4K, man. Like he's just amazing, you know. So yeah, it'd probably be Joe Deceives. Yeah.
I think that's all of it's a unanimous pick. I like that as well. Like obviously we can pick out Neptune. He's incredible as well. No one on 100 Thieves stands out like crazy to me right now. But yeah, Neptune and Joe Deceives really, they just solidified themselves as like legit players, like online LAN, incredible players. Their stock's gone up. But Joe Deceives is just something special. The kid is, he can shoot against anyone. There's not a single player in this league.
Literally, he could shout anyone. That's what makes him.
And to be dropped from Thieves and come and do this, it's just like, yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him. So yeah, I guess Joe Deceives. Obviously, other than Cell, because like, yeah, WMVP pick like had to be Cell. But other than saying them, our major 2 MVP is Joe Deceives.
Yep.
Joe Deceives.
Yeah, love you, man. But yeah, this has been a great video. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Please do let us know who your major 2 MVPs are in the comments section. And if, you know, you had Faze winning or not, be honest. You know, if you had like a Falcons winning, just say it with your chest, okay? Say it with your chest. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. We will be back, as always, next week with some exciting news, guys. A certain map returning to Call of Duty, and yeah, this is gonna be monumental, game
changing. Sorry, I had to.
I respect it, but yeah, make sure you guys do come back to us for all things CDL, Warzone, multiplayer, even a little bit of zombies as well. You know what I'm saying, but yeah, appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.